Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right yet your life feels harder than everyone else's? You pray, you try, you stay faithful, but somehow you're the one being isolated, tested, and pressed. Here's what no one told you. Not every woman is chosen. Because when God chooses you, He doesn't give you comfort. He gives you pressure. He strips you, refines you, and prepares you in secret. And if your life feels unusually heavy right now, this message might explain everything. Let me start with a truth most people are not prepared to hear. Being chosen by God does not always look beautiful on the outside. It doesn't always look peaceful, and it definitely doesn't always look blessed the way the world defines blessing. Sometimes being chosen looks like chaos. It looks like isolation. It looks like watching other people rise while your own life feels like it's being dismantled piece by piece. You may feel like everything around you is breaking down, but hear this clearly: what feels like destruction may actually be divine selection. Not every woman who looks good is chosen. Not every woman who prays loudly is chosen. Not every woman who serves publicly is chosen. Because when God truly chooses a woman, He doesn't rush to crown her. He takes her into hiding. He presses her, He strips her, He purifies her in ways no one sees. Before God ever reveals a chosen woman in public, He refines her in private. And if lately you've been asking, God, why me? Why does my life feel heavier than everyone else's? Why does obedience cost me so much? I have news for you. You may already be walking through the unmistakable signs of a woman chosen by God. Let's talk about them. You've been set apart even when you didn't ask for it. You never quite fit in, did you? You tried to be normal, you tried to blend in, you tried to move with the crowd and follow the rhythm of the world, but something in you wouldn't allow it. Shallow conversations drain you. Compromise makes you restless. Environments that others enjoy leave you feeling uncomfortable and out of place. That's not a personality flaw, that's not pride, that's not you being too much. That is calling. Jeremiah 1 verse 5 says, "Before I formed you in the womb I knew you, before you were born I set you apart." Chosen women are marked long before the world ever meets them. You didn't stumble into God. God marked you first. And once He marks you, you will never be able to blend into what He's called you out of. So when people walk away, when friendships fall apart, when doors close without explanation, don't panic. God isolates the ones He intends to elevate. Separation is not rejection, it's preparation. You've endured unusual pain and it didn't destroy you. Chosen women carry unusual oil because they survive unusual pain. You've walked through betrayals that should have shattered your trust, losses that should have made you bitter, storms that should have killed your faith, and yet here you are, still standing, still believing, still loving God. That's not luck. Romans 8 verse 28 says, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." Nothing you suffered was wasted. Every heartbreak shaped your compassion. Every rejection built your endurance. Every tear baptized you for purpose. You didn't go through that for nothing. You went through it because you are chosen. When the enemy saw your future, he attacked your present, but he failed because the very wounds meant to break you became proof of your calling. You carry a fire for God you cannot explain. Have you ever tried to walk away from God only to realize you couldn't stay gone? You get distracted, you stumble, you drift, but conviction pulls you back every single time. You love God too deeply to live comfortably in sin. You love Him too much to settle. That fire inside you won't let you rest. Jeremiah said it best. His word is in my heart like a fire shut up in my bones. I am weary of holding it in, indeed I cannot. Chosen women burn differently. Their hunger for God disrupts their comfort. They can't live lukewarm, they can't be casual about Christ. You weren't created to flirt with faith, you were created to be consumed by it. You face intense spiritual warfare. Here's a truth most people avoid: The greater the calling, the greater the resistance. Every time you try to move forward, something pushes back. Every time you try to rest, another battle begins. This isn't coincidence, this isn't bad luck. This is spiritual warfare. Ephesians 6 verse 12 reminds us, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms." Hell recognizes your assignment even when you don't. You're not just another woman, you're a weapon. That's why the attacks feel personal, because they are. But never forget this truth. You, dear children, are from God and have overcome them, because the one who is in you is greater than the one who is in the world. 1 John 4 verse 4. You are not fighting for survival, you are fighting for destiny. And the intensity of the battle confirms the weight of your calling. You crave purity and purpose more than popularity. At some point, the old you stopped feeling right. You began desiring peace over attention, holiness over hype, depth over validation. Romans 12 verse 2 says, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will." Chosen women outgrow what used to satisfy them. The gossip, the applause, the approval, it doesn't fill the void anymore. You crave prayer, you crave purpose, you crave something real. And yes, that makes you seem too deep for some people, but that's not a flaw, that's spiritual maturity. God is rewiring your appetite to match your assignment. You feel deeply and it sometimes hurts. You sense when others are hurting even when they're smiling. You carry compassion that feels heavy at times. You cry for people who may never know how deeply you cared. That sensitivity is not weakness. Matthew 14:14 says, "When Jesus landed and saw a large crowd, he had compassion on them and healed their sick." God entrusts emotional depth to those he intends to use as vessels of healing. Your empathy is sacred, your softness is strength. You were never meant to be hardened. You were meant to carry heaven's heart in a human body. You're more interested in building than boasting. A woman chosen by God doesn't chase the spotlight, she chases substance. While others compete, she builds. While others perform, she produces. Proverbs 14 verse 1 says, "A wise woman builds her home, but a foolish woman tears it down with her own hands." You're no longer impressed by applause, you're focused on assignment. You don't need validation, you want fruit that lasts. And even if you're not celebrated now, heaven is watching. When the time is right, God Himself will introduce what He's been building in secret. So, woman of God, does this sound like you? If it does, stop doubting yourself. Stop shrinking your anointing. Stop calling your process a punishment. It's preparation. You were chosen for something sacred. That's why it's been hard, that's why it's been lonely, that's why it's been confusing. God is shaping you for impact. And when He's finished, even your doubters will have to say, "That could only have been God." This is your season to stop hiding and start rising. Lift your head and say, "Lord, I hear you. I surrender. I accept the calling. Use me for your glory." If this message spoke to your spirit, don't scroll past it. Type, "I'm chosen" in the comments and subscribe, because the next message may be the confirmation your spirit has been waiting for. You are not random, you are chosen.